Hey guys, it's Z here, and today we're going to be doing the first part of What If Deku had the Kaioken. I have just started watching the anime of My Hero Academia. I will be making this What If as I progress further. I'm currently in the middle of Season 2, on my way to Season 3. So I will carry on watching the anime, and I will carry on adding to this what if once I know what's actually happened in that stage of the series. Since this series is so good, I just love watching it. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. Deku is bullied from a very young age for being quirkless, but when he goes back home, he gets checked up with his mother as a quirk doctor. Deku only has one joint in his pinky toe now, meaning that he will likely have a quirk. The quirk doctor doesn't see the quirk and just can't get around what it could be. Deku doesn't care except from the fact that he does actually have a quirk and it just hasn't manifested yet. This actually gives him the chance to be a hero. Deku grows up and carries on to get bullied, but on the inside he knows that he actually has a quirk, luckily. Deku grows up and says he wants to go to UA because that is the place where the top heroes go for training and no one believes that he will be able to do it because he doesn't have a quirk yet. Deku gets bullied by Bakugo and just shuts him down because he knows on the inside that he has a quirk, it just hasn't manifested yet. Deku leaves and as he is walking gets ambushed by the sludge villain. Deku stops breathing and can barely move around and he feels a sense of hopelessness. He can't fight back. Deku cannot stand this and his eyes go red. His hair raises and his aura blazes out from him. Deku is currently in the Kaioken form and now he dodges a strike from the sludge monster and manages to keep himself out of the real trouble for the meanwhile. I'm not going to give him anything OP like, oh, he defeats the sludge villain with one punch, oh, All Might doesn't need... No, it's just double his power. He's still not going to really win against his sludge villain. He sees some old water bottle and uses this form to suck him into the bottle. He tries and is about halfway through from getting him into the bottle when All Might arrives to save the day. Deku manages to sustain the sludge monster and he gets into the bottle and then he puts the cap on. All Might smiles and puts his thumbs up and says, "Good job, boy." Deku falls out of the form and he can barely move from the strain of the form. All Might sees that his quirk is the unseen and ancient Kaio-ken. This is a dangerous but a way too OP quirk where you can upgrade the Kaio-ken to any limits that your body can actually take. Deku gets taken away by All Might and now he is much more optimistic now because he has his quirk and also his quirk is really overpowered. Deku wakes up on the top of a tower and All Might is standing there just watching him. All Might says, "You really will be a strong hero, young man." Deku stands and is shaking because it's actually All Might standing right there and giving him some good advice. My name's Izuku Midoriya, but you can call me Deku. All Might puts his thumb up and says, "Okay." All Might leaves and now Deku's extremely strong from his quirk finally manifesting. Deku is so happy and then he sees that the bottle has disappeared. An explosion goes off behind him and he believes that now he can do something to help, but he doesn't know how to get there. Deku doesn't know what to do and his red aura surrounds him again. Deku jumps at another building and crosses the buildings like it's nothing. His aura actually amplifies the physical attributes more than 2 times for the start because a 2 times multiplier at the start of the series doesn't really make sense because he would still be really weak. Deku arrives and sends gushes of ki at the sludge villain. Kamui and the other heroes look in shock as he sends the fluid back, then grabs Bakugo. He jumps at the fluid and with his aura he punches it into the bottle on the floor and he manages to contain it and puts the cap on once again. Baku goes storming off and Deku knows he's done something good after all. He falls to the ground and he falls out of the Kaioken form. Deku then gets trained for 10 months in his preparation for the UA High School entrance exam. He gets trained with his quirk and his body's stamina is increased to the limit and now he can handle Kaioken times 3. Like, between Kaioken and Super Saiyan for Goku in the Namek Saga. So, it's not as much as Kaioken times 20 in the Namek Saga, but it's definitely not as low as Super Saiyan in the Namek Saga. You see, we have to nerf the strain of Kaioken and amp up the power of it to make it more adapting to the environment of My Hero Academia. Deku manages to easily take the stuff off the beach and screams like normal because of the strain of using Kaioken times 4 on his body. He actually finishes this a few days before and uses the rest of the days to heal his body from the strain of Kaioken times 4. This helps him heal from the strain that he put on his body and makes him ready for the UA High School entrance exam. Deku arrives and he is so muscly and his stamina is off the charts, and Bakugo arrives to see a Bill Izuku Midoriya ready to get into the exam. Bakugo isn't intimidated at all and just believes he will still completely destroy Deku in the match. Uraraka doesn't see him fall but greets him because of his outstanding body and confident attitude and calm attitude towards things. They make it into the stadium-like area where the announcer of the UA entrance exam, Present Mike, explains to them how to get as many points in this entrance exam. Present Mike explains it to them and Deku is trying to analyse by muttering quietly to himself, and just like the series he was caught out for it by a 10-year leader, but he doesn't really care as much. The practical exam consists of the same stuff and Deku is much more prepared for it, but he still is a nervous wreck on the inside. Deku sees that people are getting points left and right, then he sees a villain that is worth 3 points in the distance. He screams, "Kaioken times 3! His aura blazes in a crimson red, then he jumps at the villain and punches it, destroying it. He is now granted 3 points, then he lands to turn around and see the huge villain towering over everyone. He turns and sees a medium villain and destroys it, then jumps at the huge villain even though they were really not advised to. He jumps at the villain and charges the key in his fist and punches the villain, causing it to explode. He lands, gets to Uraraka and sees that he has 2 minutes left and runs at top speed to get some villains. He increases it to times 4 and this is a bad idea, but he doesn't care. His body is deteriorating and he manages to get an extra 6 points and help another person from certain defeat. He finishes with 9 points from the villains, quite low on average, and 68 points for the rescue instead of 60. He ties with Bakugo, but they put him on top for having a mixed amount of the 2 different rest sections. Deku isn't the type to overthink his skill and just takes it as him being lucky, and Bakugo is now on a whole new level of anger. He is so angry that Deku, the quirkless loser, managed to slightly beat him with equal scores. Deku is so happy and everyone sees him as quite a prodigy because of his OP quirk that hasn't been seen for decades. If he trains more, then he could become more powerful than All Might at his top 1 for all power. He passes the exam and manages to settle into UA High School. Now they are performing the Quirk apprehension test and Deku does much more on the 50-meter dash. Deku uses Kaioken times 3, so what we will do is divide the time that he got by 3, so that means he got 7.02 seconds in the real series, but now he will get 2.34 seconds. He gets the most and everyone is astonished by the power of his quirk. The next test we'll be covering is the grip strength test. Deku got 56 kilograms of force and now he gets about 168 to 170. He doesn't get the best, but he does get much better than normal. The next we'll be covering is a long jump. Deku easily creams this and jumps the sand and another virtual one with ease. The throwing test comes and he manages to think and uses the aura he possesses to launch the ball even further, and he manages to get about 300 meters. Then with the aura push, that brings it to the same as normal, 705.3 meters. Bakugo still gets extremely mad and gets mad at Deku for beating him just by 10 centimeters. Deku shrugs and says, "Sorry." Bakugo's eye twitches and he grabs Deku by the neck. He creates heat on his hand, but Deku uses the aura to keep him shielded from the heat. Now we skip to the 2-on-2 match of Deku and Uraraka against 10-year leader and Bakugo Katsuki. Deku analyzes the situation, makes Uraraka go and get the nuclear weapon when they find a location of it. Deku is silently walking in the hall and doesn't see anything or hear anything. He turns and sees an airborne Bakugo about to explode him. But he jumps and still gets hit though. Deku goes flying back and hits the wall extremely hard and coughs out spit and blood. Deku then uses Kaioken times 3 and hides behind the wall to analyse the situation and Bakugo's movements. Bakugo zooms at Deku and Deku dodges the incoming attack and counters with a powerful punch and a kick to follow. Deku lands and dodges the incoming punch from behind and kicks Bakugo up a floor. He jumps and Bakugo has his veins pulsing and he looks up with an insane face. He shoots many explosions at Deku and follows by jumping at Deku. Deku turns and sees that there are many explosions and brings his aura right down to his body to shield himself as much as he possibly can. A few seconds after, Bakugo appears out of nowhere and punches Deku down the floor. Deku jumps back and dives the incoming punch and hears something from behind. He runs and loses Bakugo, then hears something directly above like normal. He charges his power and jumps up to check more seriously. He definitely knows it's up there and says it's on the 5th floor and Uraraka is on her way there. Deku turns and makes his stance against an arrived Bakugo. Deku jumps at Bakugo and gets exploded back and gets slammed down 2 floors. Deku shouts, "Kaioken times 4! He shouts and his aura shoots out to form an even bigger aura around him. He then shouts after this, "Kaioken times 5! His pupils disappear and his hair shoots up, then he jumps at Bakugo. He dodges the incoming defense punch from Bakugo and kicks him in the gut extremely hard. As Bakugo is flying down the hall, Deku runs at Bakugo with speeds unseen and punches Bakugo in the ribs. 3 of his ribs break in 2 and the bone around shatters. Then, when Bakugo slowly slides down the wall, Deku punches Bakugo up 3 floors and falls out of the Kaioken form. I know it seems outrageous to give him the ability of times 5 already, but actually we have severely suppressed the power of Kaioken to make Deku actually quite able to use the form. And don't worry, he's not going to be able to use this in his base like very easily for a very long time in the series, so just wait. Bakugo comes toppling down the 3 floors and he lands right next to Deku. On the other hand, Uraraka has done a good job and managed to secure the nuclear weapon, and Deku and Uraraka win against Bakugo and 10-year leader. So that concludes the first part of What If Deku Had the Kaioken. Please put in the comments if you like this, because I really did enjoy making this as well. So if you want a second part in the near future, break the like goal of 40 likes, like I said in the intro, and then I will likely make part 2 in this week. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.